Hello and welcome to another Arkeys video and to a new daily race A on Gran Turismo 7. We are at Suzuka and we are in the 60s Honda Formula car. And this is a car without any downforce. It's only mechanical grip, and we are on racing hard tires, but you basically have to treat it like a cigar-shaped road car in terms of how the car reacts in the corners. This is a fun one. We've got a grid start as well, so let's just jump straight into this first race. As you probably know, we had an update this morning, which also meant that the servers were down and I wasn't sure when they would be up, so it was only when Chicken Angel messaged me on my PS phone app that we had a race coming up now, so I just jumped on with almost zero preparation, and that will show in this first race. We are coming into turn 1, taking it nice and easy, just trying to keep the inside line as good as possible, and everyone is doing their best to keep it clean. Really nice to see. And we are coming into the S's. There was a bit of a touch between Couch Racer and the other German driver. I don't think it was on purpose, but unfortunately the other German driver went off there, and we are up to P4. I'm just trying to keep my car steady around these corners, trying to upshift into 4th. I really have to have a look at leaderboard replay for this one. I think there's definitely a lot of speed to get out of this car, which I am not really doing at the moment, but we are just hanging on, coming through the 2 deckners and coming towards the hairpin. And if I remember correctly, yeah, you almost have to lift a bit to keep the car around the corner, and I outbrake myself. But we make it around the hairpin. I've got the French driver, he was getting close to me, but I'm getting a good run out of the hairpin using 2nd gear, and now we're coming up towards Spoon Curve, which I found out during my very short warm-up for this race is a tricky one in this car, and I perfectly demonstrate this once again. I go off onto the AstroTurf and getting back onto the track without hitting anyone, so we just try to carry on. I am behind the other German. Let's see if we can at least stay on the track as we come towards 130R, and since we have no downforce, you have to brake for this corner. You cannot take it flat. So I'm trying to take it nice and easy, but not nice and easy enough. So I still go off the track. I might have had some dirty tires from being off at Spoon Curve as well. Being nice and cautious through the chicane here. Don't want to run into the back of anyone. And now I've got Couch Racer right behind me. I think he is just following me along for this one. So let's see if I can get through turn 1, now coming at full speed. And yeah, I couldn't really have to figure out the braking there. You have to brake enough, but don't brake too hard, because you also have to turn. So it's a bit of trade braking, just really have to keep the car steady. I don't really have a proper explanation for that one yet. I have to learn that one myself. But we are making our way through the S's. There was a bit of contact there, but for now my main goal is to try to set up the car for a decent exit out of the S's. I'm up to 4th gear and I get a better exit. Left some room, just enough room for the French driver on the outside, and now we're coming towards the deckners. 4th gear for the first one and down to 2nd. I think you're better off exiting in 3rd gear, but I'm exiting in 2nd gear for reasons I am not really able to explain. Let's see what we can do about the hairpin almost running into the back of Couch Racer, but we both survive it, and we are trying to just get a decent exit out of here, and maybe we can survive Spoon Curve this time. I am, if I remember correctly, I'm using the 100 board as a reference, and then you just really have to be careful coming into this one. You can see Couch Racer doesn't survive it this time. I am not at all using all of the track, because I'm just scared that the car will run away from me. So, but I survive it, but really slow, and we're jumping ahead, and would you believe it?
Good evening. Tonight on It's the Mind, we examine the phenomenon of déjà vu. That strange feeling we sometimes...
Yeah, you guessed it, I am running off the track at turn 1 again. Really have to figure this one out. But I'm afraid it might not be in this first race. Now we are behind Couch Racer again. I've got dirty tires for days. You can see how the car is struggling to get through the S's, and it's still struggling, really not wanting to stay on the track with me. So we are coming up towards the Dunlop curve, and yeah, I'm still just exiting in third gear. The car really doesn't want to turn, but nevertheless we carry on and we are jumping to the start of the final lap. Can I do turn 1 this time then?
Good evening. Tonight on It's the Mind, we examine the phenomenon of...
Nope, still getting way too much oversteer into this corner. Really tricky to keep the car steady, at least for me at the moment. I will have to see if I can figure that out between this and the next race. We are wrapping up this first race. I had a big enough gap behind me to secure P6 despite all my mistakes, and we are jumping into the next one. I've set a time which isn't at all a fast time compared to the leaderboards now, but it was fast enough on this morning to secure a pole position for me. I've got Daft behind me and he has got the inside line, but he decides to back out very early, which is good news for me. He is usually a driver I can trust, so everything is good, nice and clean driver. And we are trying to make our way through the S's. Not really doing the best job. Maybe it's cold tires, maybe it's a skill issue, you never know. But let's see, can I keep the car tight to the right hand side so I can get, nope, not as much as I would like, but up to fourth gear, and let's try to get a good exit up towards the Deckness. And yeah, keeping an eye out for the 100 board at least as a reference. That's the middle-aged man, cautious driving brake markers probably, but yeah, it's working for me at the moment. And we made it through the 2 Deckness and we are coming up towards the hairpin. And once again, just as in race 1, I slightly outbraked myself, but I still get a good run, at least a better run out of the hairpin. And once again, coming up towards the dreaded spoon curves. What can we do now? Using the 100 board as a reference. And yeah, that's better, and I'm being a bit more brave, using a bit more of the width of the track to get a decent exit here. And coming up towards 130R, have to remember, have to brake, don't run wide on the first lap like I did in the first race. Can we do it? Down to 5th gear and we keep the car on the track, missed the apex slightly, but we are still alive. And coming into the chicane, up to 2nd gear and yeah, up to 3rd gear this time, because it feels like the car is a bit more stable coming through this final corner towards the finish line.
A few moments later.
Yeah, we are jumping to the exact same spot on the track, but this is the start of the final lap. Now let's try to get this turn 1 right. Looking for the 100 board and not too hard on the braking, aiming for the inside and just letting the car coast, slowly going down through the gears, using 3rd gear for the exit out of turn 1 and 2. And we are coming through the S's, mainly staying in 3rd gear. A bit too wide there, and I think I'm dropping down to 2nd just to get the car a bit closer to the right hand side. That's a bit too much of the curb. The car goes slightly, that's going to compromise my run out of here. So even though that first sector was purple, I think I lost some time there. We're coming up towards the Deckness, once again using the 100 board as a middle-aged man, cautious driving, braking reference, and we're coming around the 2 Deckness, slightly missed the 2nd Deckner there. And now the hairpin lifting a bit to make sure the car stays sort of to the right, so the entry doesn't get too narrow, and yeah, getting out of the hairpin. And finally spoon curve, I cannot remember if I do a decent job of spoon curve this time or if it gets a little bit wobbly. Anyway, looking for the 100 board again, and yeah, a bit sideways. I think we're good. We are aiming for the outside and aiming for that late apex, and now coming up towards 130R. We are getting close to the end of this one. I have managed to keep the car alive to stay in front for an entire race, and this is a fun race. I hope this doesn't turn into a really dirty race because of no ratings, because it has some potential to be a fun one, a decent length of a race for race A as well, and the car is fun to drive. I'm certainly going to give this some more goes throughout the week, but we are ending this one. Congratulations to Chicken Angel on P2 in this one and for winning the first race. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.